Hi guys, welcome back to the session. In the today's session, we are going to learn about UiPath recording. So let's get started by understanding this UiPath recording. So this UiPath recording is used to capture user actions on the screen and translate them into a sequence of activities. Later on, the project can be modified and parameterized so that you can easily replay and use them. Now moving to the types of recording, there are 6 types of recording present in UiPath, and they are basic, desktop, web, image, native Citrix and computer vision. Basic and desktop recording records desktop applications with some differences which we will see in few minutes. Now moving to the web recording, this records web applications. This image recording records virtualized environments such as VNC, virtual machines, etc. This native Citrix records Citrix environments, and this computer vision automatically generates workflows that uses computer vision activities. So we will look into each of them one by one. Let's get started by understanding this basic recording which is used to record desktop applications. So let's quickly jump to UiPath and create a project using basic recording. And here we are in the UiPath studio. Let's quickly create a new project from here. So for that we are going to select a process and let's give the name as recording demo, and my project will be stored in this location, and let's give a description as this is a demo on UiPath recording, and let's click on create. And here we are in the UiPath design page. You see we have this recording option present. Now if you click on this drop down, we have all the recording options present over here. First of all, we will go with this basic recording. So using this basic recording, we are going to create a task to type some text in this notepad, and later on change the format of this typed text from this font window. So let's see how we can use this basic recording to do this task. So I'm going to create a new sequence from here. So for that, let's select this new and let's select this new sequence from here. Let's keep the name of the sequence as basic recording, and let's click on create. Now under this basic recording, I'm going to select the basic option from here, basic recording option. So let's click on basic recording. Now as soon as you click on that basic recording, we get a basic recording toolbar with this record and some other options. So we will look into these options a bit later. At this time we are going to go with this record option to record our task. So let's click on record. Now as soon as you click on record, you see all the elements are getting highlighted over here. So what does it mean? So all the highlighted elements are identified by the UiPath and we can interact with these elements. Now our first task is to type some text in this notepad. So I'm going to click on this editable area. So click over here, and as soon as you click, we get a box over here where we can type the desired value. So let's provide some text over here. So let's give the text as demo on basic recording. And then we have multiple of special keys present. So if you want to use any special keys from keyboard, you can select from here. Now next option in this box is this empty field. Now when we can use this empty field? So if you have any already existing text which is present in the text box, and if you want to remove that text before typing this value, you can check this box. Also, if this text value is a password and you want to mask that one, so you can check this type password so that the text is not visible. Now since this is not a password, I am going to uncheck this one. So we have typed our desired value and we have checked this empty field box, and here it says press enter when you are done. So our job is done. I'm going to press enter and the text got typed over here. Now our next task is to change the font. So for that we will move to format, and then it is asking us if we want to use an anchor. So we will look into this anchor a bit later. So I'm going to check this box and I'm going to select no. So from this format option, I'm going to select this font. Then I'm going to change the font from here. So let's click over here and let's go with the font as Book Antiqua, and I'm also going to change the size to 28 and let's click on OK. So our job is done. We have typed the text over here and we have changed the font. Now I want to stop the recording. So for that we'll press escape and let's select this save and exit. So here you see all the actions which we performed got recorded in the form of activities. So first of all, we typed this text inside the notepad. So this is the activity to type some value. Then it clicked on format, then it clicked on font, and then we clicked on this push button 4 times to get the desired font. Then we selected the font, we changed the size and clicked on OK. So all the actions which we performed got recorded over here. Also, if we move to this file explorer, now here you see there is a screenshots folder. If you open this screenshot folder, here all the activities which we performed got recorded as screenshots. So if you open this one, so here you see all the activities got recorded. So anytime if you want to check what all actions you performed, you can move to this screenshot folder and check the screenshots from here. Now moving back to UiPath, so our recording is done. I'm going to quickly run this one to see how it works, and I'm going to change this font so that the changes made are visible. So I'm going to reset the font which was earlier. So let's move with this option and I'm going to save this one and let's run it to see how it works. And here you see it typed the value and now it is changing the font, and now change the size and it is done. And this is our result in the notepad. Now here if you notice, since we have checked this option of empty field during the recording, that's why it removed the already existing text over here and then it started to type. So this empty field is very helpful in cases when you want to remove the already existing text and then start to type. So let's minimize this one. So we created our first project using basic recording and it is successful. Now if you notice over here, all the actions which we performed got placed inside this basic sequence without any attached window container. Now what is this attached window container? I will show you with the help of desktop recording, since that attached window container is not present in basic recording and that is present in desktop recording. So this is the first difference between this basic and the desktop recording. Now in this basic recording, the actions are recorded without any container, whereas inside this desktop recording, the actions are recorded within the container. So let me show you a demo using the desktop recording, how a container is present inside the sequence. So here I'm going to create a new sequence. So for that, let's select new sequence from here and let's give the name of the sequence as desktop recording and let's click on create. So in this sequence also I'm going to perform that same task so that the changes between this basic recording and desktop recording is visible to you. So I'm going to reset all this font from this notepad. So first of all I'm going to move this to Arial, regular and 16, which was the default font. Let's click on OK and let's start the recording using this desktop recording option. So let's select this desktop recording. So this desktop recording toolbar is almost similar to the basic recording toolbar. Here also we have this record option along with some other options. So we will look into each of them a bit later. Let's go with this record, and again the elements are getting highlighted. So I want to type something over here. So let's click on this editable area. Let's type the desired value as demo on desktop recording and let's check the box to empty the field and let's hit enter. So it got typed. Now we'll move to format, and we do not want to use anchor as of now. Let's check this box and let's click no. And from the format, I'm going to select this font. Let's take the similar font which we took earlier. So let's take this font and let's change the size to 28 and let's click on OK. So our job is done. To stop the recording, I will hit escape and click on save and exit. So under this desktop sequence, all the actions which we performed got recorded. So you see all the actions which we performed got recorded. Now if you notice over here, there are some attached window containers present. So what it is doing, what does it mean? Since we typed this text and we clicked on format, we typed some text and clicked on format inside this untitled notepad window. That's why these two activities are placed inside this attached window untitled notepad container. In a similar way, we have the next attached window container as menu. Now this UiPath considers this also as a separate window. That's why here we clicked on this font. So the UiPath placed this click on font action inside this attached window menu. Next we changed the font from here and changed the size from here, which we did inside this font window. Now that's why all these actions, clicking on these push buttons, changing the font and changing the size and click on OK, all these actions are placed inside this attached window, which is font dialog. So all the actions are placed inside the attached windows of their respective windows. Now this desktop recording is done. I will quickly run this one also to see how it works. I'm going to reset the font so that the changes are visible to you during the runtime. So let's reset this one and click on OK. And here also, since we have checked the option of empty field, that's why first of all this will be cleared, and then UiPath will start to write the text over here. So let's see how it works. I'm going to quickly run this one. So let's hit run. So it cleared the field, typed the text, selected the font, and it's going to change the size, and it's done. Now if you move back to notepad, here you see it cleared the already existing text, then it typed the text again and then changed its font and size. So this was the first difference between this basic and the desktop recording. In the basic recording, there is no attached window container present. All the actions are present by themselves. Whereas in the desktop recording, all the actions are present inside the attached window container of their respective windows. Now let's move ahead. I'm going to save this notepad to see how it works. I'm going to save this one. And let's give the name of the notepad as UiPath demo, and let's click on save. And let's try to run this desktop recording sequence again. Let's hit run. So it's trying to run the UiPath project, and then it threw some error. It was not able to type something inside this notepad. So let's see what error we received. So the error says the source is attached window untitled notepad. So in this activity, we got the error, and the message is cannot find this UI element corresponding to this selector, that is untitled notepad. Now what is this selector? So selector is a property of UiPath, and using this selector property, UiPath identifies elements on the screen. So all the elements whatever is identified, those are identified using the selector property. And since we got the error inside this attach window activity, so let's move to the selector property of this attach window. So let's click on OK and we'll move to the, this is the attach window activity selected. So we'll move to the selector of the attach window activity. This is the selector property. Now if I open this one, now this is the selector for that attach window container with some attributes such as application as notepad.exe. This is the application notepad.exe, the class as notepad, and the title is untitled notepad. So when we ran this project, the UiPath tried to search the element with these attributes. But since it didn't find any notepad with the title as untitled notepad, since we have changed its name, we have saved it to UiPath demo, it didn't find the untitled notepad. That's why it threw the error. Now how to fix this one? So we can fix this one by replacing this untitled from here and put a wildcard character, that is asterisk. Now whatever title you provide to your notepad, whatever title you provide to your notepad, it's going to match the title. Asterisk is going to take whatever values you provide over here, then put a dash and notepad. So using this selector, the UiPath is going to identify the element. Also we have the option to validate from here. So if you click on validate, it moved to green. It means the modified selector, this modified selector is going to identify the element, and the element is this notepad. So let's see now if the project works or not. We have changed the selector from here. Let's click on OK and let's save this project and let's quickly run it to see how it works. So here you see it is performing the task successfully now. It has identified the notepad since we have modified the selector. So it performed the task successfully. Now this basic and desktop recording have some differences in terms of selectors as well. So let me show you what is the difference between basic and desktop recording in terms of selector. So in this basic recording, full selectors are present, whereas in desktop recording, partial selectors are present. So let me show you the difference between this full selector and partial selector using the project which we have already created. Now let's first try to understand the partial recorders which are generated using this desktop recording. Now we already saw the selector for this attach window activity. If you select the selector for this attach window activity, so all these are the attributes, that is app name, class and the title. So these all are the attributes which identifies this window. This notepad window is identified by these attributes. Let's click on OK. Now if you notice the selector of this type into activity, this type into activity is present under this attach window activity. If I move to the selector of this type into activity, so here you see these all are the attributes for the type into activity. Now if you notice over here, we can edit the attributes present over here for the second row and for the third row, but this first row attributes are grayed out. Now why this is grayed out? Because these attributes can only be edited from this attach window activity. Now since this first row is grayed out and we can only edit these partial attributes from here, that's why this type of selector is set to be the partial selector, because we cannot edit all the attributes of the selector present over here. Let's click on OK. Now if I move to basic recording and if I select the selector of this type into activity from here, if I open the selector, here you see all the attributes of the selector are editable. We can edit the title from here as well. Now why it is so? Since there is no attach window activity present, this type into activity is not present inside any container. That's why we can we can edit all the attributes from the first row as well. Now since we can edit all the attributes of this selector, that's why it is set to be the full selector. So that was all about the full selector and the partial selector. There are a lot more items to be covered inside the selector, which we will see separately in the selector session. Now let's move ahead with some other recording options. Now there are some actions in UiPath which are recordable, and those actions come under automatic recording. Those actions we performed using this record option of the toolbar. Next, we have some actions in UiPath which are non-recordable, and those actions we can record using manual recording using these options of the toolbar. So what all are actions which are recordable? Let me show you. The actions which are recordable are left click of buttons, checkboxes, drop downs, and text typing. Whereas non-recordable actions under UiPath are typing keyboard shortcuts, modifier keys such as Ctrl Alt, right click, and mouse hovers. So we already learnt about this record option. Now I am going to quickly create a project using a combination of this record option and one of the options from here. That means it will be a combination. The project which I am going to create now will be a combination of automatic recording and manual recording. So let's quickly jump into the UiPath and let's create a new project. So again, I'm going to create a new sequence. Let's select a sequence. Let's give the sequence name as recording demo. Let's click on create, and I'm going to automate the task. Let me show you what task I'm going to automate. I'm going to type something over here. Let me change the font first. Let's reset the font over here. So I'm going to type something over here. Let's say that I type demo recording. Now instead of moving to format, selecting font and changing the font and size from here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Alt plus O plus F, which is going to open this font window. Now this keyboard shortcut cannot be automated using the record option of the toolbar. That's why I'm going to create the task using the record option and other options of the toolbar. So let's close this one and let's remove this and let's create the task. Again, from the recording, I'm going to select this desktop recording. And please notice that the automatic recording and manual recording, which we discussed just now, will be applicable for both basic and desktop recording. So let's select this desktop recording and let's open this notepad. Now first of all, I want to type some text in this notepad. Now typing text comes under automatic recording. Using this record option, we can perform the typing text we learned just now. So I'm going to select this record option which we used earlier as well. So let's select this record option and click on this editable area and type the desired value over here. So I'm going to provide the value as combination of automatic and manual recording, and I'm going to check this empty field and let's hit enter. So it got written over here. Now I want to change the font of this type text, but not by moving to format. I want to use the keyboard shortcut. Now this we also learned, this keyboard shortcut cannot be performed using the automatic recording using the record option. So what I'm going to do, I will hit escape and the recording is stopped as of now. Now to use the keyboard shortcut, I will move to type and send hotkey. Now we have selected the send hotkey, click over here and we get the option to provide the keyboard shortcuts over here. So you can check the keyboard shortcut whatever you want to use. I want to use Alt plus O plus F, so I will check this Alt option and from the key I'm going to provide over here O plus F. Now once you are done with this keyboard shortcut, once you have provided the keyboard shortcut over here, you will press OK. And here you see as soon as you pressed OK, we get this font dialog box over here. So we opened this font dialog box using the keyboard shortcut. We didn't move to the format option. Now in this font dialog box, I want to change the font style and size, which can be performed by the mouse click, left mouse click, and we know this left mouse click comes under automatic recording, which can be done using this record option. So I will start the recording again. So let's click on record and we can start to record again. So let's select the font from here. Let's select this font. Let's change the size and let's click on OK. So our job is done. I will hit escape again and I will click on save and exit. So this is the task which we created using the automatic recording and manual recording using the desktop recording toolbar. Now this similar task can be performed using the basic recording as well. So let's see what all activities got added under this desktop sequence. As expected, we have this attached window, that is untitled notepad, where we typed this text, and one new activity got added, that is send hotkey, which we have used to provide the keyboard shortcut Alt plus O plus F. And then we have this next attach window activity for the font dialog, where we performed these activities. We changed the font, we changed the size, and we clicked on OK. So let's quickly run this one to see how it works. I will save this one and let's quickly run this. So you see the text got cleared and then it typed the text and now it's changing the size and the font, and my task is done now. So in most of the real life projects, the task will be performed using the combination of both automatic and the manual recording. You can try to create a project using the same and let me know if you face any queries. And that's all for this session, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like and share with your friends and hit the bell button to get the updates on the latest videos. And I will see you soon in the next one. Bye bye.